Today's videos, I'll be talking about uh, different emulation options for a big screen television. What would be the best emulation platform to use on a big screen television in your living room, for example? And in my opinion, something like I guess RetrOrangePi PC, which you see in Figure 1, RetrOrangePi 5 in Figure 2, and small form factor, which you see in Figure 3, an RetrOrangePi 4 LTX in Figure 4 would be a pretty good option to use on a big screen television. And the prices of these differ from platform to platform, and they use different emulators as well. So for the RetrOrangePi PC, it will cost anywhere from $53 to $55, which is a very low cost option. I didn't add other boards like a Banana Pi M20 because the price of a Banana Pi M20 and an RetrOrangePi PC is almost the same. But I think an RetrOrangePi PC is a better option compared to getting something like a Banana Pi M2 because it's just better in that it comes. You could get a case with a fan and everything in it on, let's say, an RetrOrangePi PC versus a Banana Pi M20, which you have to modify to do, and it's painstaking, and it would just add to more cost. So an RetrOrangePi PC would be a good option if you want to play any 8-bit or 16-bit video game console, or if you want to play PlayStation 1, it's good for that as well, and it could also play some N64 games. I'm very surprised that the RetrOrangePi PC can do that, and I made some videos about it, and you could see it in the videos on the top right corner. You could go to the video descriptions and find that, because I'll leave some links for that as well. And it's a pretty low cost option. Cost anywhere from $53 to $55 if you buy it from AliExpress. If you buy it from Amazon, it's probably going to cost more, because it costs more on Amazon in general compared to buying it on AliExpress, because you're ordering it directly from the source. You know, if you order it on AliExpress. And so an RetrOrangePi PC can emulate 8-bit, any 8-bit video game console from or a computer, anything from Atari 2600 to, I guess, Super Nintendo. It could emulate some Sega Saturn games, but Sega Saturn emulator is not very good for some reason. It's not good. It's not good for any platform. Even if you have a powerful computer, it's not good. N64, it's okay. It will run some games. PS1, PlayStation 1, good. Dreamcast, I don't think you'll be running Dreamcast games on it. Or PlayStation 2, you could forget about that. Or GameCube, Nintendo GameCube, no. The next option is RetrOrangePi 4 LTS. There's two versions, a 3 gigabyte version and a 4 gigabyte version. The price that I listed was for a 3 gigabyte version. And those will cost anywhere from $93 to $95, and that's with all the accessories, like the case, the power supply, the micro SD card, and everything. That's also true for the RetrOrangePi PC. So the price listed is with all the accessories, including taxes that are paid and shipping that's paid as well. So the RetrOrangePi 4 LTS, I'll be making a video about that in the future and doing some tests on it and showing you how to set it up. And it could run any 8-bit video game console or computer, 16-bit video game console and computer. Sega Saturn, it's okay. Nintendo 64, I guess it's okay. PlayStation 1, yes, it will run it. Pretty good. Sega Dreamcast will run that. PlayStation 2, I don't think so. GameCube, no. Next on the line is RetrOrangePi 5 4GB version. I made some videos about that. You can see that in the video descriptions below, or click on the video card in the top right corner and you can see that as well. It'll run any 8-bit or 16-bit video game console or computer. No problem. Sega Saturn, it'll run that okay. Nintendo 64 will run it at full speed for most games. PlayStation 1, yes, it'll run that with flying colors. Dreamcast, it'll run that very well. PlayStation 2, it'll run most games. GameCube, it'll run GameCube games fine. And you have the small form factor computer. And the type of small form factor computer I'm talking about is something like a Hewlett-Packard G1 600 or a G1 800 or something like that, which will come with at least 8 gigabytes of RAM, a hard drive or SSD of 250 gigabytes, and it will come with a graphics card, something like a GeForce GTS 1030, 2 gigabyte video card, small form factor, of course. I made some videos about that also. You can go check it out in the video descriptions below. And I did turn my Hewlett-Packard small form factor computer into an emulation machine on my big screen television. And it runs pretty good. It does have some limitations, however, but it does run good for the most part. These will cost anywhere from $224 to $250. As I forgot to mention, the RetrOrangePi 5 4GB version will cost anywhere from $120 to $125. And this is including all the parts like the power supply case, power switch, power supply, micro SD card. But I didn't add a M.2 NVMe SSD into the mix. This is just for it'll be for a 64 gigabyte micro SD storage device. Of course, the RetrOrangePi 5 4 gigabyte SBC, and everything that you'll need to get it to run will cost about $120 to $125, which is cheaper than a small form factor computer, which will run you $224 to $225. But the small form factor computer could be more versatile in that you could use it as a desktop as well. If you don't have a computer already, then the small form factor may be the option for you. But if you already have a computer, then I guess something like an RetrOrangePi 5 4 gigabyte version would be good for using it as an emulation machine. If you want to use higher end emulators like a PlayStation 2, Dreamcast, or GameCube, and stuff like that, and you want to run everything else, lower end emulators as well, RetrOrangePi 5 4 gigabyte would be a good option. For small form factor computer, it's good all around. It's very good. It could run pretty much every 8-bit, 16-bit, I guess 32-bit. It'll run Sega Saturn okay, N64 good, PlayStation 1 good, Sega Dreamcast well, Sega PlayStation 2 good, very good, Nintendo GameCube good. Everything would run good. So those are the options that you have. For Raspberry Pis, you're just not going to find any right now at a reasonable price because there's a lot of scalpers like buying this stuff and then just marking it up like at outrageous prices. So this would be the option that you could use today in April of 2023 because there's still a Raspberry Pi shortage. And the boards I've been using thus far were RetrOrangePi was the Orange Pi platform, and I found that to be pretty good. A pretty good substitute or replacement for the Raspberry Pi platform in general. And there's a lot of programs that you could use for the Orange Pi platform. For the Orange Pi PC, I used Batocera. They have a operating system image of Batocera for Orange Pi PC, and you could there's also Android you could download and put onto a micro SD card, and you could use a RetroArch on that as well. You could use RetrOrangePi, which is a emulation platform for Orange Pi PC as well to emulate games. And for Orange Pi 5, they have an image of Batocera Linux for Orange Pi 5, which I made videos on, and it runs pretty good, but you have to get the tweaked version. The official version doesn't work good. It doesn't work at all, actually. And you could also get a operating system for Orange Pi 5, Android 12. I installed that on a micro SD card, and I got it to run the RetroArch emulator, and I was able to emulate up to PlayStation 1. I was able to emulate the Dreamcast games as well. I didn't try GameCube because I don't have any ROMs for that or games for that. But it did run PlayStation 2 pretty well for the most part. Some games did have some slowdown issues, but for the most part it was good. For the Orange Pi 4 LTS, they do have a beta version of Batocera for the Orange Pi 4 LTS or the Orange Pi 4 platform. You could also install Android on it, and install RetroArch as an emulation station platform. And for the small form factor computer, I was able to get an image of Batocera on it, and I was able to emulate everything from, I guess, an Atari 2600 up to a Sony PlayStation 2, and it ran pretty well for the most part. Those are the options that you have if you want to create a emulation video game console on your big screen television. On my big screen television, I'm using a small form factor computer, which is a HP ProDesk G1600 small form factor computer. Although the small form factor computer is good, it's not as good as my desktop, which I have two. I have an i7 4790K with a GeForce RTX 3060 12 gigabyte GPU, and also on my i7 10700KF, I also have another GeForce RTX 3600 3060 12 gigabyte video card on it, and those computers can emulate PlayStation 2 flawlessly just for almost every game, and I don't have any performance issues with that. But on the small form factor computers, the small form factor X64 computer, you will have some issues with performance compared to a full stack desktop with a 700 or 900 watt power supply. It's not going to be quite up there, but on a big screen television, I guess it's good. I use it to play games like I like to play Tetris on the Game Boy. I like to play PlayStation 2 games, PlayStation 1 games, Dreamcast games, and for that, that's just fine. There's just no issues with it. And those are pretty much the options for it. If you have any thoughts or questions, you could leave it in the comment section below. and thanks for watching.